Hello, and welcome to Who's in the Pew. I'm Melissa Pici, editor of La Fe magazine. This show is an extension of La Fe and a production of We Hope, which is run by the Diocese of Laredo's Communication Department. Each week, we will get to know someone new and learn a little bit about his or her unique involvement in our diocese. We hope you will enjoy meeting others who sit in the pews of parishes right here in the Diocese of Laredo. Hi, and welcome to Who's in the Pew. I have joining me today, Jerry Castro. Jerry, welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to do things a little bit differently today.
Sure.
I'm going to start out with just some fun questions just to kind of open us up, get us started, break the ice.
Sure. Let's start. Let's go.
All right, let's go. So, first of all, big one. Do you like cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Dogs more.
Mm-hmm. I got a corgi.
Really? Corgis, they're small, right?
A small sable corgi.
Oh, indoor.
He's fun.
Yeah. Have you always grown up with having dogs?
Yes, we always have. At one time we had several dogs, rabbits, chickens, cows.
All right.
And horses.
Horses.
Yeah, that's kind of the extent of this too. Yeah.
Nice.
So you have to learn a little bit about everything.
Yeah, so you're a big animal person.
I love them. They kind of give you a very serene feeling, taking care of them, kind of making sure that they're being fed and the proper hygiene and stuff like that. Yes, I love them.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Okay, next then. What is your favorite thing to do when you're spending time with your family?
Oh my God. My kids are both grown. They're married. Each one has their own family. Basically, I like to just sit back, watch some TV, play with the dog, have conversations with my wife. That's basically what we do. We sit around and basically, hey, let's go eat, let's go do that, because we're like empty nesters now.
Aww.
So except for the dog. So that's why we brought the dog in. But it's fun. It's fun. Love it.
That's great. Yeah. Just some downtime, some relaxing.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And nothing else on the weekends. Kind of go and make sure the horses are fed. Make sure they have water and stuff.
Sure.
The dog and yeah. Simple things that are very common. And having some pets, you just have to take care of them. Yes, which is nice. It's nice having that responsibility sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
What is your favorite? You talked about going out to eat with your wife. So what's your favorite place to go out to eat?
Oh, I'm very lucky. She loves to cook. Mm-hmm. I'm a full-fledged diabetic too. I have a insulin pump. So it monitors my insulin 24/7, 365 days a year.
Right.
So we kind of stay away from carbs. Okay. We kind of have to.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get spoiled maybe on Friday or Saturday, just go out and eat. But otherwise, it's mainly no carbs. Instead of rice, it's cauliflower. Yeah, it's just...
the totally substitutions.
Yes, totally different. At one time, I used to drink a lot of Diet Coke. I thought Diet Coke, that's what I wanted. Now we moved everything over to water and iced tea. So, yeah, I'm lucky from that perspective. She loves to cook.
That's great. And
sometimes she asks me, okay, what do you want for lunch today? Whatever. Oh, don't tell me that. Tell me whatever. So that's kind of the conflict that we have as to what do you want for lunch or what do you want for dinner? Whatever. So, because I run out of ideas, so I need for you to tell me what you want. So it's either chicken or beef, and with a vegetable or salad. That's basically it. So
sure.
Not a lot of carbs.
Well, that's healthy.
Because again, she kind of takes care of me, make sure my My diabetes doesn't go up.
You need a special diet with that.
And my A1C remains at a certain level. Mm-hmm.
That's great. Your own personal chef.
Yes.
Very nice. Okay. So that concludes our fun questions. Not that the others won't be fun, because this is all going to be fun.
Okay.
But okay, you mentioned your wife. You mentioned your grown children. So can you share just a little bit about yourself, your background? And sorry, before you begin, can you get the mic just a little bit closer? I just want to make sure it's picking up your voice. That's a little bit better. Maybe a pinch closer. Even.
Closer.
Yeah.
Okay.
The mic is your friend.
Been married for about 41 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We've got 2 grown boys, Paolo and Jerry. Paolo's about 41. Jerry's about 36. Paolo has his wife, Tessa, and 3 kids. Caleb is the oldest one, and then Katie and Emma. Oh. And then Jerry's got the oldest is Ben, and then Brandon, and then Brandon, and then Ben. No, what is his name? I forgot his name. Can you believe that? Bradley.
Oh. Hopefully he doesn't see this.
They're all B's. Okay, it's Ben, Brandon, and Bradley. No.
Does that get confusing? Keeping all this?
It does. The smallest one, the youngest one, which is Bradley, anytime he has lunch, dinner, or breakfast, he prays. You're talking about a 5-year-old little boy. He prays.
Oh, good for him.
Yes. And they all are brought up that way, where they all either give the sign of the cross or they pray right before having dinner. For Thanksgiving, usually we have Bradley, 5 years old, do the prayer before dinner for Thanksgiving. So yes, he does that. He loves it. He loves it, but he does, and he wants to hold hands. I mean, but it's I think it's great. I love it. I love it. Yes.
Do your grandkids live here?
No. Yes, they all do.
Yes.
All 6 of them do. Yes, they do.
So you get to see them pretty often?
Pretty often. As far as Pablo's, the oldest one, he's working. He goes to LC. Katie, she's a little bit more studious.
Okay.
She goes to, I think she's going into high school, and she's doing the college classes. So you don't get to see her that much because she's always studying.
Yes.
And Emma, she's our social butterfly. She kind of goes with us and helps us do every Wednesday where we do catechism for our San Luis Rey Church.
Okay.
It's 2nd and 3rd graders, and she comes and helps us. So it's my wife, myself, and Emma.
You all teach catechism classes.
We all are in the same group. My wife, since she's a former teacher.
Oh, okay.
She does the CCD. I help her, and so does Emma. Emma she runs the computers, and I help with the kids. Yes, it's a family thing.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's really special.
You know, that was funny because I never thought about doing something like that, but I remember these 2 gentlemen that came to the house, Carlos and Mario. They came in on a Sunday afternoon, and they came in there and wanted to see if we were interested in doing the catechism, because they had a previous administrator. She decided to walk away, retire, and just give it up. Mm-hmm. And now Carlos was going to take over, and Mario. So they asked Eli, and he turned around and he said, "Would you like to help?" And I never thought about it. I said, yeah. For some unknown reason, these 2 gentlemen came into my house and invited us to be part of this great experience, this great journey. And I love it. I really love it.
So you didn't know them before?
No.
They had reached out to you, but they knew
No.
you were parishioners at San Luis Rey.
Yeah, but prior to that, my wife was doing it for 1 year. And then they came in because it was a brand new administration and said, would you be interested? And I said, sure, why not? But I never thought that I would get so deeply involved in this because you learn a lot of stuff that I thought I had known when I was growing up because we're a Catholic family and we were going to church every Sunday. But then again, when we went to church, the mass was Spanish. We were more English, but it never could quite bring everything together.
Right.
But now in my later years, it's really a great journey. I love it. It's a beautiful experience.
And what grade levels do you teach?
Second and third.
Okay.
Second and third. They're young.
So
young kids.
Yes. Do you help prepare them for First Holy Communion?
Yes.
The second graders?
It's for the first year. Yes. They go into the second year and then they can get the communion. Yeah. So we do the first year.
So you have a very, very important role. Not that other catechism teachers don't, but I mean, I think preparing them for the sacrament of First Holy Communion.
Yes.
It's a pretty vital time in their life.
It's funny because some of these kids will learn the prayers in English or Spanish or both. It's funny, you expect them to learn the English. Some feel more. It's easier for them to do it in Spanish, and it's great. So I was really looking forward to this when Fred Carlos and Mario first asked us. Yes, loved it.
Oh, that's wonderful. How many years have you been doing it, teaching?
It's going to be the fourth year for me.
All
yes.
right. So you're in there. You're committed.
It is a commitment, It is. It's a commitment. If you say, well, I don't feel like it. It's a commitment.
Yes.
Just like
you have to
part
show
of
up.
being a Eucharist minister, it's a commitment. You have to be there. Okay. People count on it. So, and the way we looked at it is it's a commitment. If we see that we can't go because we've got another engagement coming on, we'll probably let somebody know, hey, we won't be there. So there's going to be 2 of us missing. So kind of prepare for it.
Yes.
But yeah, we kind of tell each other what's going on. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you have to keep that open communication because the kids are depending on you.
The kids,
They're
and then
show
also
up.
with the Eucharist ministers, we have to let them know because we have the way we're kind of formatted and how we do things. I think it's the best way is to have some sort of. We have to be prepared to what we're going to do for that mass or for that class, whatever it might be.
So that's something else. That's another way that you serve at your parish, right? Is as a Eucharistic minister?
Yes.
And does your wife do that as well?
Yes.
She does?
Yes.
Now, how long have you all been serving in that role?
I want to say 6-7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, but I tell you what, there were some people there that have been here for more than 15 years, 17 years. Like, oh my God. And it's just that commitment, you have to be there. Again, I just can't express the joy, the happiness that you feel by looking forward to it on church day, Saturday, or getting ready for the kids on Wednesday, whatever it may be.
Yes.
In the case of my wife, she prepares. She's a retired teacher. So in the morning, she prepares for the evening class. So what I do, I just kind of support her, and so does Emma. And then, okay, whatever it's going to take, it's the way it goes. So, but that's how we do it. It's an hour and a half meeting with the kids.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was it like going from having sons? Now you have girls in the family. Were you and your wife?
Those girls have me wrapped around their finger. Whatever they want, they get. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. but
if they're watching this, Grandpa.
Yeah, Emma, we call her. She's blue-eyed, blonde, white skin. takes after her grandma and her mother. And oh my gosh, she's beautiful, but so is Katie. Katie's is brown haired, but they're beautiful girls. Again, it's just so it's so different nowadays than the days we grew up compared to now. The way we grew up, we were all boys. The oldest one was my sister. And by the time we came to actually, she was off to college when we were 4 or 5 years old, but she's in college already, So at Texas, Denton, Texas, at the women's.
Yes, Texas Women's University.
Yeah. So she's a retired teacher too. So she was up and she was about ready to get married. So we came up. So it was all boys.
Oh, and how many brothers did you grow up with?
4.
4 brothers.
Yes. I was telling you last time you and I talked was that it was my dad, me, my mom, my next older brother, and my oldest brother. The young one wasn't born yet, but we would sit in the third pew in front, and we were just kind of messing around with each other because we were 5, 6 years old, and then they kind of pinch you. Can't do that anymore now, but they would pinch you and go like that, and just okay. Then we'd stop, and after that, they'd take us for breakfast. And then about 11:30, 12 o'clock, we go home to get out of our Sunday best. And my mom would open the door just a tad, and she noticed that we were in our briefs, and she came out with a belt or a little, like, you misbehaved. and it got to the point where we grew up, and we just started laughing, and because we're just a bit too grown up where the spanking was more of a laughing matter.
So mom didn't care that you all were older. You were gonna behave fast.
Yeah. She was. My mom was a disciplinary. My dad was pretty much. He was a beer salesperson. He worked pretty long hours. He'd get up at 5 a.m, come back till 8, 9 o'clock at night. My mom was a disciplinarian. She was the one that ran the house. So now the with Katie and Emma, I've never had girls, but oh my God, the other day he said, Grandpa, what? Let's go to the movies. And we're going to go watch Scream. Scream? I don't like Scream.
They had that in the theater?
Yeah.
It's a new one,
yeah,
right?
The newest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not up to date
and the
with
oldest one, let's go, Grandpa. And I said, no, I don't like to see that one. And then the youngest one, Emma, says, yeah, Grandpa, you need to go. Why? Grandpa, you're the one that's got the... You're the one that got the money. I said, oh, come on.
Well, that makes you feel good. Not about spending time with you, but you're gonna pay.
No, but so after that, we went there and we went to the mall. And apparently... the girls tried to go in there the day before, but they couldn't go in because they weren't 16. So they did not let them in. So we go, grandparents go with the kids, and they did not let us go in either because she told, well, I'm their grandmother. I said, no, it doesn't matter because you're not the parent. We can't let you in. So I said, wow, I didn't know that. So we didn't go. Well, so we went to go have dinner somewhere, but we did go the next day. But it's funny. I just didn't know that. I know that the grandparent cannot accompany their grandkids to a rated 16 movie because it's the grandma, not
the parents. Huh.
Anyway,
that's interesting. I wonder.
And the thing about it, the gentleman that was telling us this was maybe 14, 15 years old. He had the rules right there. I said, look, I mean, if it's documented, what can you say?
Right.
It's there. Okay,
right.
Well, it is what it is. You know?
Yes. Well, that's good. That's great to hear that.
There was nothing bad about the movie. It was just kind of gory. That's all it was. But we still ended up going to have dinner somewhere and then took him home and then We went the
next day.
Yeah. Yes.
That's nice. So you get a lot of time with your granddaughters and
yes.
bonding time with them.
Yeah. They're all great. I mean, what can you say? They're your grandkids, right? Everybody's beautiful. Everybody's handsome. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's your perfect grandpa. Grandpa talking right there.
Yes.
Aw. Well, okay. So you mentioned that you grew up going to Mass. You grew up in a Catholic family. Was that, that was instilled in you at a young age that,
Yes.
you were cradle Catholic?
We had to at that time. We didn't know it, but our parents were very familiar with the sacraments. So the instructor or the teacher that I had was Miss Santos. Her husband was at one time the county judge. So they would have it there at Holy Redeemer Church.
Mm.
Yeah, it was fun. We were baptized and then did communion and did all the other sacraments we had to do, but the confirmation. But they were very, very well versed that we had to fulfill our sacraments.
Yes,
all of us had to. So,
yeah,
but it was great. Again, it's funny because nowadays people don't walk to learn, to go educate yourself or go to a classroom. I mean, they don't drive. We would walk. We would walk. Okay. Now you have to take the kid in the car.
Yes.
It's
very different times.
Very, very different times.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, we had the opportunity to see the black and white TV. I know. And in high school, there was no air conditioning.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You think about that now and you think, how do people survive? How did people survive in this heat?
We had no air conditioning. We had a computer. It was a dummy computer. Those long monitors. They were green. How it's evolved from then to now with AI, artificial intelligence.
I know.
It's a fast-paced world.
It is.
It's a fast-paced world. And I find myself very challenged because all these people that I go against in my own company, it's a friendly rivalry. But the thing is that they just come out of college, so they're very hands-on the computers, while you're over here like stumbling, like, how do you do this? So,
and now you work for AT&T.
I work for AT&T, so it's a very technological, advanced company. So you have to live and you have to learn, or you sink. So you have to do what you have to do. Everything's computerized. There's nothing nowadays. Before, people would do, they could either do it manually or through the internet. Now it's all through the internet.
All through the internet, yeah.
There's no manual stuff anymore.
Right.
Forget that. Okay. But then I see some other things that we kind of lost was some of their kids can write in cursive.
Yeah.
Some of the kids don't know how to add, multiply, divide fractions, vectors.
Right.
All that is very, very different because we learned how to do it manually.
Yes.
Compared to the new generation. Is that what you call the millennials, maybe?
Millennials, yes.
But it's funny because Bradley, the youngest one, I mean,
he knows how to use.
Yes, but he forgot about the fact that it's fun to be outside. It's fun to play with a dog. It's fun to look at flowers, birds, whatever it may be.
Right. Disconnect from the technology.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But they do have all those toys too. But we kind of, I don't do it, but my wife does. She kind of makes sure that they go outside, that there's a little bit more to life than just technology. There's people around you, things you need to look, things you need to see, things that you're going to learn from. So, yeah.
Yes. That's good. I think, having a balance of the two, because you can't, like you were saying, just with your job, you have people coming straight out of college. They're using the technology and they're, very fast paced with a very, very knowledgeable. And so you have to adapt with what's new and what's coming out in this world. But to remember also a bit of how things used to be and to place value and importance on those things, and just learning just from the everyday experiences, from, letting your imagination run wild, for kids. That's so important in their development. So I think that's nice that your wife.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I also see is I see a lot of younger kids, especially in my company, that have families. And I guess because I'm a little bit older, more mature. You said, hey, don't talk to your kid like that. You need to support him. It's very different, man. These kids are challenged every day. And so watch it. It's very easy to just, lose your temper and get mad. I'm just take it easy, because I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. If you can't, don't do it. If you that's the way you are, then hey, that's the way you are. But I mean, just watch what you do. It's just kind of the older version of me saying, hey, take a different approach to your son. Again, they're in a different world, in a different lifestyle. It's just very, very challenging. So, when we were in high school, there was no STAR test or whatever that. Yeah.
Right.
But now it's all about that. And it's a constant change. So.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of stress that is caused, I feel like, to kids at a younger age. There's a lot of pressure that's put on them, and things that kids didn't have to worry about before. Now, like you said, it's teaching to the test. It's constantly preparing for that. And
I'm no brainiac, but you tend to see that like Katie, she's going to high school and she's working to get ahead by taking college classes. So in the back of your mind, okay, is she going to enjoy high school because she's trying to get ahead of the game? I don't know.
Right.
But she says, well, I want to be a surgeon. Okay, well, I mean, I see your point, but I just don't know
what the right answer is.
Exactly. I have no idea what the right answer is.
Yes. It's hard. My husband is a counselor, and he'll speak sometimes with young adults, with college age students. And sometimes they've rushed through, they did the dual credit. And for some people it works. And in cases like that, where you're going to have a longer educational career to if she wants to be a surgeon, it makes sense from different perspectives. From other perspectives, he has seen where kids are just so burnt out. They weren't ready to move that quickly. And so once they're close to graduation, they're just kind of a little bit lost. And it just, was too fast paced for them.
Yeah. And here, there's also a little bit of a history behind that, because Katie, her uncle used to be Dr. Haber, who just passed away not too long ago.
Yes.
Charles Haber happens to be my daughter-in-law's father, but he's also the brother of Dr. Haber. So that I don't know whether that's what she wants to follow. I have no idea, but she says that's what she wants to do. So, I mean, all I can do is just pray for her and encourage her to do what she needs to do. And I'm hoping everything else will fall in place.
Yes. Yeah. That's such an important point that you bring up, is praying for them, because, you're right with what you said earlier. We don't know the answer. We see all these new paths introduced to students and how you can do the dual credit and how some are doing that. And you see where it works for some, it doesn't work for others. And ultimately, I think it is, leaving it in God's hands and praying for the person going through it, praying as they're going through it, that they make the right choices. And then as parents, as grandparents, praying for your kids, your grandkids, that they will discern the right choice and that God can guide them through that and help it to work out.
Yes, that's what you got your fingers crossed, and hopefully that'll be part of what they want to become.
Yes. Well, what are some ways that you and your wife instilled the faith? And actually, was your wife Catholic growing up?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, she was Catholic. She was very much Catholic. She said she was very poor. And I think we all make the mistake that as we grow up and we both get educated, I got my education, she got her educations, and we did what we had to do. She had to overcome maybe more obstacles than most. Her parents were very, very, very poor. She told me sometimes she would just eat beans and rice.
Wow.
Yeah. We never saw that. I never saw that. We always had what we needed when we needed it and what we wanted. So I never saw that.
Right.
But it doesn't make you any different than her. We're all the same. She does talk about that, and she kind of is a little, well, she learned from it, but you sometimes see her tears in her eyes because of the way she was brought up. But again, it was I think there was 7 in her family or 8 in her family. See, and
wow, so both of you come from pretty big families.
Yeah, and we were
7.
We were about 3 blocks away. I mean, where I lived and where she lived, I lived at my dad's home. She lived in the housing authority. So it's just at that time a lot of people did. A lot of people in our school lived in the housing authorities.
Yes,
they weren't any better than we were.
Right,
they weren't.
Right,
but we grew up as friends, and I knew her brother before I met her, and then.
And was that growing up? You knew her brother? Okay.
Yeah. See, my oldest brother and her brother were in school together. And then her older brother and me got to become friends, and we had some other friends. And who would ever think that we would end up getting married for 41 years? But yeah, it's funny. It's very, very funny. But,
so at what age did you all meet and start dating?
I think we were 24 when we got married. I met her back when she was maybe 18, 19 years old, but it was just a high vibe, just nothing. I hung around more with her brother.
Right. But
who would ever have thought that? I wouldn't trade her for the world, though. She's the backbone of our family. Yes, because we moved. Working with another company, we moved like 9 times, and at one time, in Uvalde, Texas, I had a stroke. And I lost all the right side. It was dead. It was nothing.
Really?
I couldn't speak. I couldn't walk. Nothing. So she took it upon herself to take me to San Antonio from every Wednesday from Uvalde, San Antonio. It's a 90-minute drive one way. Go do the therapy and come on back. So she had to miss school because she was a teacher there. So she missed school. And then all of a sudden we had another friend of ours that he was an accounting professor at Southwest Texas Junior College, and we're good friends. And he says, you know what? I'll take him for you.
Wow.
So he would haul me from Uvalde to San Antonio and back. Okay. He'd haul me for the
Every
therapy.
week.
Yeah. He goes somewhere. Where he went, I don't know, because I couldn't communicate. I couldn't talk.
Oh, so you lost
Everything.
That was part of it. You lost part of your speech. Oh, wow.
Everything.
You would not know
nothing.
today, obviously.
No
sign language.
So,
wow.
He bring me back, and how was he? I couldn't speak. I couldn't say anything. So I'm glad he took me there to San Antonio. It was a great feeling, a great thought. Next thing I know, he decides to move him and his wife. They moved to Kerrville. After that, I have not seen them. So that's something that I really, really appreciate. I had a lot of good friends in Uvalde. Because Uvalde, when I was there, it was a very prejudiced town.
Really?
Yeah. It's not now. But you'd walk in there, let's say at a Wendy's or a restaurant, and you have a white family and a Mexican. They walk out. We just will not eat when you're there.
Wow, really?
Yes. But things have changed. When I left Uvalde, they were on the verge of getting a brand new Hispanic mayor. So things started changing. Changing. The other thing was that we were part of the volunteer fire department. It's a small community.
Yes.
Okay. And what we did was we were volunteer firemen. And when I had my stroke, I had it on a Sunday, a week before Thanksgiving, because it's a small community. The doctors kind of step away and go wherever they're from, and they come back to work from Monday through Friday. Okay. So I was in the hospital in Uvalde, and they didn't know what had happened to me. So the next day, the doctor comes in, because here comes Monday through Friday. And he says, man, this guy had a stroke. No, but he had it yesterday. So it was too late. So they had to fly me to San Antonio, and I saw Dr. Marin. But the damage had already
been done.
Yeah.
And I know with strokes, my knowledge of it is you need to act quickly to
oxygen
prevent.
Oxygen is the best thing, but you didn't know that then. Now you do. Now you do. But again, I was pretty much dead in the water for about 6 months. I mean, couldn't talk, couldn't walk, couldn't anything. Nothing. You would eat, and it just because you didn't feel it. You know?
Yes.
So, and then it's funny, Melissa, from maybe one day to the other, it's just everything
something turned on. Wow.
Yeah. Yes. Everything came back on. The other thing I didn't realize, and it broke my heart, was that any time at that particular time, if they do a biopsy or anything in your head, because I've got a scar all the way back here, and he said, anytime they go into your head, you lose your driving privileges for a year.
Oh.
I didn't know that. My job involved a lot of driving.
Oh, my goodness.
So I was given the opportunity. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Work calling.
I was given the opportunity to relocate to Corpus or be fired. So I moved my whole family to Corpus.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. But again, I couldn't drive.
And this was after being out for 6 months.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So you were actually either going to be terminated or we can relocate you here, and you have 6 more months. That makes you a year, because once we go into your head, you can't drive for 1 year. Then you will get your driving privileges back.
Okay.
So that's what happened to me.
And then what did that look like? Was your wife taking you to work, taking you to the office?
But then again, I was going to school. I was still going to my junior college. I was working on my 2-year.
So this was, how many years ago was this? It's had to have been
80s. The 80s.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'd lost everything. And so I'm so lucky that I got everything back.
Mm-hmm.
But everything in the brain is still mush until everything started changing. Now you can read, write, understand. At one time, it was a little difficult because you were going to school at night and you had to read several passages several times to be able to comprehend what you were reading. But it was a little, I was in a little bit of a panic because I wanted it like now.
Yes. You had to slow down.
Yeah, I was burned to Canada both ends. I was going to school at night and working 8 to 5, 8 to 6. So what I would do is that I was stationed in Uvalde, but they offer classes in Uvalde, Del Rio, Cotula, different cities around Uvalde.
Right.
So if I have to be in Del Rio on a Thursday, I'll make sure I go work on a Thursday there and then go to school at night there and come on back, because that was one of the courses that I had to take. So that's what I did and how I was able to get my
schedule work around it
and get my education. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It didn't take me to 4. It took my 8 years, but it got it.
Yes, you got it in the end. So how did your faith, if at all, how did your faith get you through that time? Because I'm sure that was very challenging on a lot of different levels.
It was because I had very, very, very strong faith. I was so faithful to everything that I did. But then my parents were still alive and I got upset with God. Why? Because she took my mom. And that's this life.
And this was after you had the stroke, as you're still recovering.
Yeah, because there's a beginning and an end, and we all are headed that way.
Right.
But I guess in my frame of mind, why did she take my mom?
You weren't ready.
Why? So yeah, I was for that. I guess for a bit of time, I was really upset with him, and he never left my side. But I was upset. All the faith that I had just went out the door.
Wow.
Why? Because you took my mom away. But and then from there, I went to a depression state, and then I came back around and regained everything again. But it was funny because I thought for me that was probably a very dark time for me, because you have to have faith in Jesus Christ. You have to. You must have faith. There's no ands if. You have to have faith, whatever your thoughts are. And I guess for that period of time, don't know, it was a month, 2 months. I don't remember, but I was PO'd. I just didn't like that. I just didn't like that.
How did that change? What made you come back to your faith? And
because finally I started talking to my brothers and sisters and my wife, and it was going to hit us again later with Dad. I had never seen my dad cry. I had never seen my parents fight. Okay. Never.
wow,
And then
that's
I saw it one time and I thought, oh my God, a divorce is coming. It was just a common little knick-knack.
It's just a little spat.
Nothing bad. But in my mind, no. And then when my mom passed away, I saw my dad cry like, man, somebody took away his lollipop or something. I mean, he cried and cried. And I guess because they had been together for such a long time.
Right.
And it's hard to understand and comprehend that they were together for such a long time, the good, the bad, whatever they did. Because my dad would never say anything about the past. My mom, once in a while, threw a little stuff here and there, but my dad never would say anything. But it was just very. It was horrible to see that. My dad cried that day, and I can remember him, and I couldn't believe it. But
Right.
now that I had seen it, I understood what he was crying about.
Right. Well, it sounds like they had a very strong marriage.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, very strong, very strong. But again, I mean, we were at church every Sunday. Micahs, all that stuff. Yeah.
You were involved up at the parish,
and
your parish was Holy Redeemer Grant.
Yeah, but when we were growing up,
but
you know, for us it was fun and having a good time. You know, and
Yes.
they were working. It's funny how things come back around to follow you.
Yes.
Yeah. And in my wife's case, she would ask her mom or her dad to go to church, and they, according to her, they would accompany her, and she would ask her sisters, and one would go. Okay, but she was very faithful to the Catholic Church. Again, why and what happened, I don't know, but she does say this. But ever since then, sometimes when after I felt in that dark place when my mom passed on, I didn't go to church. She kept going. Okay, she kept going. She kept the faith. I was just devastated because
You just couldn't.
You took away my mom, you know.
Yeah.
But then we came back together again, and again, without her support, I couldn't. I wouldn't be where I am without her. So.
And so she was kind of the one that ultimately.
Yeah, because the kids were in New Valley. They were going to a Catholic school, you know, and Dad wouldn't go because he was mad, you know. And so now that you're older, like, dummy, you know, why? But you know.
Well, what would you say? Because I think that's a common reaction from some people. You know, we all grieve in different ways and we all deal with things differently. But I think it's very easy to be mad at God when tragedy happens, you know, and even something like that you know, our life here is not, you know, forever. This life is not eternal. But still, you know, when it's somebody close to you, when it's your mom, that can be a natural response. So what would you say to somebody who maybe is experiencing something like that, is kind of at a place that they're upset with God because they feel like God has done something to them and caused them pain?
I probably do a 360 and pretty much talk to them as often as I can and say, you know, you need to keep faith in God. You know, they have eternal life now, but you have to have faith in God and in all the other angels and saints. You just have to now. Again, you would ask me this 20 years ago, I probably had a different answer. But now as you're getting older and getting ready to retire or move on to another retirement age, you know, I wish what I know now I would have known when I was 20 years old. You know, I would get very close to this person, whoever it may be, and just tell them to keep the faith. That's what I would tell them and pray with them. But again, it's not going to happen instantly.
Right.
But it's something that you have to make them think to understand why we must have faith in God.
Yeah. And ultimately, like you said earlier, God is faithful. God never left you through all of that.
No, never did. But it was me.
Yes.
It was me, not him. It was me.
And that's the thing, right? With free will, he gives us free will, so
Yes.
we have the ability to choose to stay close to Christ, to follow Him, or to walk away and to be upset. And God allows us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we learn and we grow with time, with age, with teaching other kids, with teaching catechism classes.
Mm-hmm. And all this is voluntary. You know, we don't ask for anything in return. We kind of hope that He remembers us up there, even through all, especially me, all the faults, all the things that I've gone through in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that I'll go to heaven and have eternal life with Him. But
yeah, that should be what all of us hope for and strive for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is someday to be in heaven with God and bringing others closer to Him in this life. I think God does see that, and God does recognize that, and children, because I think that's something that we see that in our churches. We see how people are leaving the church, how some, young people and don't want to, once they receive the sacrament of confirmation, usually that's high school age. And so a lot of times after that, kids step away and don't want to continue pursuing their faith.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, it's important to have strong catechists like you and your wife who care about the faith, and involving your granddaughter in that. I think that's really neat that she wants to do that. And
she likes, I don't know. Emma also is, I think she's trying to mirror her older sister. She wants to become a surgeon, but again, I don't know. She's a little bit younger in age. So the reason that she goes with us also is that after we do the teachings, we take her for dinner. So yeah, that's the other reason.
That's a nice little incentive.
She loves Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A or Whataburger or Burger King. So, but Chick-fil-A is
top of the list. Yeah. I have to say, for me too, it's one of my favorites. Yes, yeah, those two, Chick-fil-A and Whataburger. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's where we go every Wednesday at 8:30, 9 o'clock. We're either at Chick-fil-A or Whataburger.
That's nice. But you don't see that very often. I feel like these days that families bond over church activities.
Mm-hmm.
You all are involved together, so you all go to teach, and then you have this. I mean, that's a memory. Those are memories that you're creating with her that are very special, and it just kind of, I think, will help her to prioritize what's truly important. And the fact that she's doing this with you, that she sees it's a priority for you and your wife, and then having that one-on-one time with you afterwards. I just think I
think it's great because basically, what she likes to do when we have Thanksgiving dinner is that no phones at the table.
Good.
No phones at the table. If you want to take a picture, that's fine, but then
put it away.
Now we're gonna converse. We're gonna talk and just visit and cut each other up or whatever it may be. But that's basically it. Now, once you finish and you want to go watch TV, that's your thing. Yeah. But it's what we want, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
Same thing for Easter. Same thing for Christmas. They have to have some sort of game, something.
Yeah.
To keep all the kids and the parents involved. So.
Yeah, no, that's so important. The family structure and nurturing that, especially in today's world,
Yes,
needs to happen. Now, I know you mentioned also, so you serve, you mentioned as a Eucharistic minister, and excuse me, and you teach catechism classes. Those are the primary ways that you volunteer at your parish, correct?
Yes. Right now, the other thing that I'm trying to get into is I want to be involved and become a deacon. I did talk to interim Chief of Police Steve Lundeen. We had a conversation last week. I think we're going to probably get together the following week of the 10th of June. It's more of a formation group trying to see what it's going to entail. He gave me a little bit of information on the deaconship. And that says about 6 years.
Sure.
I'm kind of looking forward to that. I like to do that.
That's great.
I've seen there's a deacon there at San Luis Papurini. I can't say his last Papurini, I think it is. He does some beautiful homilies, man. Beautiful. And it all comes from here. There's nothing to read. He just starts preaching, and it's from here. And that's what I want to do. Not look at the phone and read the phone, but it all just
from the heart.
Yeah. And he said, I asked him, how do you prepare for this? And he dijo, me preparo toda la semana. Toda la semana me preparo para hacer el homily el sábado. So in my mind, he's got thoughts that are probably just regurgitating and making sure he voices them out. And,
yes,
and that's what he does, and it's a beautiful thing. And then we have another Father Ramon. He likes to use technology, an iPad. The messages they're always on point. They're on point, and when he does those presentations or that homily, if there's not a dry eye after he finishes, he's extraordinary.
Wow.
He does a very, very deep, precise presentation in the homily. Beautiful. And so does Father Luis. Father Luis también, it's all nada el teléfono. It's just, I can't look for it.
So would you say that because of these men and their example, is that what inspired you to want to become a deacon?
Again, these are the only ones I've seen.
Right.
I haven't seen or been out to other churches to see but I've seen these
within
three
your
people.
own.
Oh my God. And I want to do that.
Wow. That's great.
And there's this, and again, it's just, the Bible is so, to me, it's hard to understand. You can read it, but you have to understand it because everybody's got their own interpretations. But I'm still trying to talk to him and see, okay, how do you prepare? Give me a little bit more deep thoughts into how you actually prepare for this homily. And that's what I'm embarking on right now.
Yes. Well, we will pray for you as you discern this calling to the diaconate. And I think it's a wonderful way that married men can serve, in a very unique way in helping the church. And I know currently there's a class, I want to say it's over 10 deacons. I'm going to mix them up with the previous class. But I know the class that was ordained a couple years ago, it was a class of 12. And so I think that's great that in our diocese that we have, men who are wanting to pursue this, wanting to learn more about the diaconate program and possibly serve their parish in that way. And, you're right, it has to come from the heart. it really has to be a calling from God, and you have to be passionate about it. And I know, having briefly interviewed the deacons who were ordained a couple years ago for the La Fe magazine.
Oh, really?
I did. I had a chance to speak with them, and so I know it is a long journey and a lot of studying, and a commitment from the wives too.
Yes. That I was told. Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't have a problem with that. We've talked about that too. And I guess the concern we had was, okay, you're about ready to retire from your job. I'm not quite there yet, and we're going to go into this.
Mm-hmm.
Should we go in this direction? Should we go and I'm not trying to be selfish. Should we go and enjoy ourselves and go travel, go see the grandkids whenever you want? They're here, But
right.
Right now that's where we're trying to make sure that maybe we both are under the same understanding.
Yes.
Because it was pointed out to me by Steve that it's very important.
Yes.
And when I was talking to Steve last week, and we were on the phone quite a bit, and you can heard that there was kids in the back. I think he must have young kids. I don't know. They were yelling and having a good old time back there. But hey, it is what it is, man. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Let's see what direction this is going to take us.
Yes. Yeah. Well, if God, meant this for you, then he's going to lead you to it, and everything's going to fall into place. And
thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll be praying for you as you discern that.
Thank you.
Earlier you mentioned, and I meant to ask you about it, and I didn't, so I just wanted to go back real quick. You mentioned that you were in Uvalde. You'd been stationed there. So we just recently marked the 1-year anniversary of the shooting there at the
Robb
school.
Elementary.
Yes. Did you know families who were affected by that?
No, as a matter of fact, because it's been such a long time, Melissa, if anything, it'll probably be maybe the grandparents. I don't know, because I was looking pretty intensely at the people that were being broadcast and interviewed. And I didn't see anyone. I still have friends there.
Yes.
But I'm not saying I did not see them in anything that I saw.
Okay.
I did know there was a tragic event.
Right.
I would never, I can't imagine that, because my wife taught at Dalton Elementary on First Street. This was on the other side of the city. So she was there. She was teaching, again, the elementary schools. But again, it's such a small community.
Right.
The fence is high. Yeah. Who would ever have thought?
You feel safe. You think you're safe. It's a small community.
It's a small community. Yeah. See, what happened in Uvalde was that the local law enforcement, if somebody came in new, they knew who it was if something happened. Okay? Unless it's an outsider just came by and hit something and left, okay, then there'd be some mystery. But
right.
They knew everybody. And they knew where the bad areas were. They knew everything because it's a small community. Everybody knows everybody. So, so coming into Uvalde, okay, there's new family coming into Uvalde. So they would know.
Right.
Yeah, because it's a very small community. But no, luckily, my wife taught, but it was a different school in Dalton Elementary, not Robb Elementary. So
she was elementary school teacher.
Yeah.
In the years that she taught. And she's now retired.
She's not retired. Yeah. She said, that's it. I had enough.
Yeah.
But she did say that this is what I've always wanted. She wanted to become a teacher. She did. She wanted to become a cheerleader sponsor. She did.
Nice.
I retired. I want to be part of the church. I want to teach the kids CCD, and that's where she goes, and I'm right behind her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's important, that there's a time for everything, right? And God gives us that now that she is retired, she's able to continue using the skills and the education she had, the experience she had of teaching, and bring that into the parish and assist in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, our parishes need more involvement. They need, more volunteers. I think it's important too to remember, like, the time will come, everybody's time will come when they can help. And there's different ways to assist a parish, just to be involved in the faith and to continue nurturing that in others, bringing them in.
Yeah, we love it because it's so complimentary when the father or the mother says, "Are you going to follow him to the next grade?"
Oh,
why? Because he really likes what you're doing with him. Yeah, but it's fine, because what we do right now in the first year is probably going to change in the second year. Right now, the way we teach is by painting and looking at pictures and reading. And going to the next level, it may not be that, be a bit more reading. Hilda's very structured. She's very structured. So this is what I'm going to do for this hour and a half. Okay. So if we fall short of that, then that part will fall into the next week. So,
yeah, that's great. Well, I've loved hearing just about, how you're involved at your parish, how your family's involved. You've gotten your granddaughters involved. And again, I think that's a great example to people.
Thank you.
And when, in a time when there's not, marriage isn't valued as it should be, this kind of shows, you have that common ground, and you have the faith that brings you together, that bonds you, and you're creating some beautiful memories with that, and continuing to grow together with God at the center of your lives.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's
Love
a beautiful example.
Love it. Thank you for having us.
No, of course. Is there anything, as we wrap up, anything else that you'd like to share?
No,
anything?
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the conversation. It was really great. And you were right. The hour went by very fast.
Right? I told you, time's going to go by quickly.
But thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Who's in the Pew. We hope you'll join us again for our next episode. And thank you to all of our sponsors who make this possible.